there's no doubt about that, a couple of players and their managers are having a too great say. And can I just say that if a traditional team manager like a Steve Bernard, who was served with such distinction through the Ponting and Steve Waugh eras, that sort of team manager with an intimate understanding of the game and who had played at the top himself, had someone like Steve been in charge, it would never have been allowed to run to the extent that it did. It would never have got out. That's the cruelest thing of this. It should never have got out into the public domain. And what has happened now, of course, is 2 or 3 of my former colleagues are taking a particular stance, and it's got to the stage now where they're sort of just about drumming, belting the drum, and if things go against their line, they're going to be left with a lot of egg on the face, and that's made it even nastier. It's a very unpleasant time.
It is, and for me, the silence speaks when words can't. I think we need to hear from our skipper. It's post-Ashes. We need to hear from our skipper or one of those New South Welshmen that have been rumoured to not support Justin Langer. Are you disappointed they haven't yet, Mike?
I always find it a very difficult thing, and you would know, Rowey, too, from asking a player to talk publicly about his coach. That is not an easy situation in any sport at any time.
Well, it is easy if you love him. You genuinely love him.
Well, that's true. But, when there's been turmoil, it doesn't matter what the sport. When there's been turmoil in a room, that's what I just don't understand. How could it have got to this? Yes. In times gone by, as I've already alluded, it would never have got to this. That's where the weakness lies. There's certainly at least one very accomplished bowler who is uneasy about Langer. And we don't know the circumstances. We haven't seen it, been in the room and seen them explode. But if he has always been, he rang me. Just a little bit of background is interesting. When he wanted to he and I have always had a good rapport. I had enormous respect for him, and he's one of few players of the modern game who actually respects what journos do as well, and might in fact think they have some knowledge about the game. And anyway, we talked about it before he got the job, and I said to him, "Are you sure that you can distinguish between passion and obsession?" And he said, "I think I've got there." And
good
I
question.
said, "Well, if you have, you'll be good." And I think that's the difference. No one should be, I've always believed no one should be blamed for their passion. Okay, there are times when he goes over the top, but if it's become obsessive again, he's got issues. But I believe, he's passionate, always has been. He's always been courageous. And the vast majority of those playing under him respect him enormously.
Yeah. Mike, I'm fearful for him because if you win a T20 World Cup from nowhere, no one expected them to do well. They did.
Exactly.
4-0 in an Ashes at home. Couldn't have played any better. Well, okay. At times they might have. Any other coach in any other era and any other time has that on the board. They just get it renewed straight away on their terms. So something must be amiss, Mike.
Oh, there is clearly is. There is some restlessness there somewhere. Yeah. And I'm not close enough into that room now to know, but it shouldn't be allowed to run to this. And I sense it's some player power, but I think it goes beyond that. And I'll hark back again to team management. I think there was a weakness in the team management, which should never have been allowed to run to that stage. It should never have been allowed to run.
Mike, the other reason we got you on, other than I love chatting to a great Nord man and a great cricket man that you are, you covered the last Test series in Pakistan 24 years ago. Firstly, will the Pakistan series be locked and loaded and go ahead? And give us some of your memories of that series. It was an absolute cracker 24 years ago.
I know, it's astonishing. And that wasn't the first time there, mate. It's 40 years this year since my first trip to Pakistan with K.J. Hughes' team in 82, which didn't go very well. We lost all 3 Test matches, lost 4 of the 5 one-days, and would have lost the 5th, except it got rioted off. So that's very different times then. It is a fascinating tour. Obviously, I can't talk. I loved it. Between 82 and 89, I was there 4 or 5 times. And, of course, you remember the 1987 World Cup, which was played under the banner of Cricket for Peace. PEACE, Cricket for Peace, that was played in Pakistan and India. So, it's a tumultuous world we inhabit now. It's a fascinating tour. They are incredibly generous and welcoming people. It is a different country now. There is obviously a greater fundamentalism, but they will be perfectly well looked after. I hope they go ahead with it.
Yes.
It seems to be confirmed, but we've been to this point before. And, of course, at the 11th hour, they've ducked it. But they really do have a Australian cricket has a responsibility. It's not going too well at the world scale at the moment after what it did, pulling out of South Africa earlier last year. And other times it's pulled out of other tours on the subcontinent. It's got a very indifferent record up there. So I really do hope, for the sake of its international image, that it goes ahead.
Steve Waugh made 157 in that first test. SCG McGill took a 9 for in that match. But the big story was skipper Mark Taylor in the second test, unbeaten 3-3-4. Mike, I bet you could really reminisce every run.
Oh, mate, it was at Peshawar. It was at Peshawar. It's the most fantastic place, right on just leading into the Khyber Pass.
Oh, wow.
In fact, if you've got a split second, I'll tell you, the first time I was up there in 1982 on the Khyber Pass, I met a kid. That's when the Russians were in Afghanistan. And there were massive refugee camps, not unlike that you're seeing today for very different reasons and very sad reasons. And I met a Afghani kid who had heard of Alan Border but had never heard of Australia. And it just gave you an insight into the power of the game in that part of the world. And sometimes I just wonder how many of the Afghani players who are playing now, and of course Afghanistan has test match status, how many of their parents were in those refugee camps in 1982 when the Australians were there. And how many? And that's where their love for the game came from, those refugee camps with the Afghani refugees being taught by the local Pakistani kids.
Oh,
it's very emotional stuff. And I bet you it's interesting to see that the Afghani under-19s are very well placed in the under-19 World Cup in the Caribbean at the moment. So, given what that country has gone through, their achievements in the game are remarkable.
Well, my favourite cricketer is a bloke with the name of Rashid Khan. We watch him closely here for the Strikers, Mike.
Can't he play? Yeah, exactly.
Just a pleasure to watch. Hey, love talking cricket with you. Thanks for picking up the phone. Let's hope JL survives. We get to Pakistan and maybe you get on a kite over there and cover it. We'll cross to you.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen,
no.
mate. Now, getting a bit too senior for that. But
you're right.
But let's hope that the legs show a little bit of real flair this year too.
We'll be right, Mike. Thanks for your time.
Okay, mate. All the best.
Great man. Mike Cowd.
Legendary cricket.
Award-winning author.
Isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, it is honestly my favourite book, that Men of Nord. Red and Blue-Blooded. That's what Mike is.
So interesting what they do with Pakistan. You know who was on that 82-83 tour too?
Who?
Wayne Phillips.
Wayne
Phillips. Just took the sword to the Pakistanis back in the day. What do you make of that? So there's Mike.
It was an interesting point. This is about management.
Yep.
This is about how it got leaked, how it got out. It should have been kept in-house, and I 100% agree with that. I'm just fearful for Justin Langer's future, immediate future.
It's borderline disrespectful.
Of course it is.
You'd think Justin would just tell him to...
Okay, I coached the Wallabies. I just won the World Cup.
Yep.
Mate, sign the deal.
Yep.
I coached the Kangaroos, the hockey team,
any national team,
the Socceroos. I win the Asian Cup. Sign the deal.
Go back to the Wallabies one for a sec. Let's say you go to New Zealand, or you have New Zealand here, your arch enemy, and you flog them.
You flog them.
You're one ball away from a sweep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're not signed.
Here's a 3-year deal.
Makes no sense
I forgot
whatsoever.
the Khyber Pass. I got one of them.
Calm down.
Hey,
Let's check the traffic for your drive home. On the other side, Peter Carey. Always love to catch up with Super Glenelg legend, but a sadder story
sad
today. Here's the traffic for your drive home.
At Wingfield, got a car v truck, Grand Junction Road at South Road, that's outbound. Myrtle Bank speeds are reduced for works around the intersection of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road, just at the bottom of the freeway there. And Trinity Gardens, slow going for intersection upgrade works at Portrush and McGill Roads. Got cameras today, Cherry Gardens Road, Cherry Gardens, and Happy Valley Drive at Happy Valley. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss return as Neo and Trinity in The Matrix Resurrections. Fast track from cinemas to your home. New to buy or rent on digital. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Edwardstown Mazda sale is on right now, and it's sizzling with massive savings on new, demo and used Mazdas. Plenty of stock is arriving daily, but you'd better hurry, they'll be snapped up. Edwardstown Mazda, 862 South Road, LMVD 207428.
What starts with A and ends with E, supplements for you and me. FIVEAA health supplements are now available at leading chemists and health food stores nationwide. Ask for FIVEAA at your favourite pharmacy.
Make 2022 the year you take the first step to great retirement living with FIVEAA. Now is the perfect time to start thinking about the kind of life you'd like to lead. One that lets you discover new talents and create new friends while staying active and connected. The First Step team at FIVEAA are here to help you start the journey. Because once you've made the move, you'll wish you'd done it sooner. Search FIVEAA First Step today.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is back with double the fun this time around because there's 2 stunning Scott Salisbury homes to be won just moments from the beach in beautiful Somerton Park. Imagine winning that. The incredible $3 million grand prize is an Art Deco inspired home with a serene modern swimming pool for a peaceful afternoon float. Plus, if you grab your tickets early, you're also in the running for the $2 million home right next door. You could grill up a storm in the ultimate outdoor entertainment al fresco. Both homes come fully furnished, ready for you to live mortgage free. Safe to say you could kick your feet up for a while in there. Imagine being mortgage free, living at Somerton in that beautiful area, hey? Yeah. Best of all, when purchasing a ticket in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery, the first one and the best, love their work. You join the fight for world-leading research, improved treatment and vital healthcare services in our community. You can view all of the incredible prizes and grab your tickets today at homelottery.com.au.
Terry White Chemmart has real deals on fragrances this Valentine's Day, like 70% off Burberry, 40% off Dolce & Gabbana and 35% off Paco Rabanne. Get real deals every day at Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry. T's and C's apply. Sale ends Feb 15.
In parts of Norway, it's not uncommon for homeowners to find a polar bear in their driveway. And in Adelaide, polar bear sightings are on the rise thanks to Polar Air Heating and Cooling. The only bear you'll see is on the side of our vans. For a home as cool as a Norwegian chalet, call Polar Air Heating and Cooling for professional and prompt installation. Polar Air Heating and Cooling. When your lair is unbearable. polarairhc.com.au.
Everybody loves their country.
I'm John Miller from Harcourt's Real Estate. What turns browsers into buyers is that wow factor. And there's nothing that brings instant appeal quite like the unique elegance of plantation shutters. For a highlight that adds value and lifts the look of any home, there's no better investment.
Improve, invest and add value with quality plantation shutters by Country. Visit countryblinds.com.au for a free measure and quote.
'Cause everybody loves their country.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
10 minutes to 5. Always great to catch up with the legend Peter Carey, Glenelg, SNFL, South Australian football legend. Just wish it was on better terms. Super welcome.
Lisa, how are you?
Oh, Soup, condolences to the club, to Graham Campbell's family. He coached the club at the Bays when you were there in 83 and 84. Sad time.
Yeah, it is a sad time. Graham hadn't been well for the last 2 or 3 years, so he's struggling with some health issues. So in some ways it's a blessing, but it's still very sad. And made a great contribution to the footy club, and also had a son and a son-in-law playing there for a number of years. So the Campbell family certainly had a big contribution to the Glenelg Footy Club.
Certainly did. 83, 84. He made you captain back then, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I hope he didn't regret that decision.
Oh,
please! We ended up losing our first 7 games in '83, and then the board made a decision to sack Graham. The players had a deputation to the board, and whether we convinced them or the supporters convinced them, the board changed their decision on Graham and kept him going. It was quite interesting because as part of it, I was part of that players' deputation, and we made a commitment that we reckoned we'd win our next game, and they should reinstate him, and if we didn't, then they could go ahead and continue to look for another coach, and we happened to lose that next game. So I'm glad the board reinstated him, and we had a pretty successful second half of '83. In fact, I think with 2 games to go, if we'd won the last 2 games, we could have made the 5. So, after being 8 zip and nearly making the 5, so the season certainly turned around. And '84, we had a very good year. Made the preliminary final. I happened to miss the second semi-final and the preliminary final after getting reported for attempting to strike, which is still very embarrassing to me. But and we ended up playing Norwood in the preliminary final in '84. And the scores were pretty close at 3/4 time.
Remember that
I think
game?
Norwood ended up winning by about 3 goals. So. And then Graham's contract wasn't renewed. But as I said, his son and son-in-law made big contributions to the footy club. He was larger than life in the media, Mr. Footy Punt.
Yes,
he was famous Graham Campbell's pocket at Footy Park, and he was just a really good man and. Incredibly loyal to his players. Never blamed the players for lack of success or whatever. He always took it on his shoulders and accepted full responsibility. So, and sort of being close mates with Peter and Donna Maynard. Sort of kept in touch with the Campbell family. Over the years, and as I said, Graham hasn't been that well for the last 2 or 3 years. So, it's a blessing in some ways, but still very sad for the family.
Yeah, God bless. And he did. Well, you think about what happened in '85 and '86, back-to-back flags. He developed and recruited and, nurtured a lot of young lads in that '83, '84 that went on to be stars, Super.
Very careful how I talk about this, Rowey, because the bloke that took over in '85 gets a little bit sensitive.
Cordsy.
He did. We had an amazing group coming through in '84. And I think the real additions for Graham, we had the Kernahan and McDermott's and McGuinnesses and Halls and, all these guys that were coming through in those in that era. Graham added something that I think we really needed. He recruited the 2 stringer boys and Scott Salisbury. And didn't they make a difference to that side? Toughened us up, made some of the quieter players, stronger players, having those guys around the place. So, and Graham Campbell has to take credit for getting the side in a pretty good spot in '84. Cornsey obviously puts the finishing touches on the side, but Graham Campbell did a great job in developing that team in '83 and '84.
Yeah, we all know him through the media, Graham. But he played and coached at a real high level at Fitzroy. He went on and coached out at West Perth and the Waffle. I knew him through those years, and then Glenelg got him out and coached. So he's got a mighty footy journey.
Oh, he has. He had a great career with Fitzroy, and he brought a couple of Western Australians to the club as well. We've got Gibbsy and Wayne Henwood from Western Australia. So he had a huge personality. Always positive, always having fun, having a joke, and he was as I said, he'll be sorely missed at the club.
Beautiful words.
And it's great, we see his grandson doing a fantastic job at Collingwood, Braden Maynard. He's certainly the family's carried on that tradition. There's no doubt.
Just while we've got you, Soup, the Sample fixture. When are you led to believe that's coming out?
Very close, mate. They put out some preliminary fixtures to all the clubs. The clubs have given feedback to the SANFL, and I'm pretty certain will be out in the next few days. And it's looking good. I think most clubs are pretty happy with the draw they've been given. We had a couple of requests. We felt we played too many Sunday games last year, and certainly puts pressure on our players that work full time. Not getting a chance to recover after a Sunday game, and so we've asked for a reduction in the number of Sunday games, and I think the SANFL will deliver on that. So, if the draw comes out like most clubs think it will, most clubs will be pretty happy with the outcome.
Soup, again, condolences to the club, to Graham Campbell's family and extended teammates and friends, and thanks for coming on.
No worries, Rowey. See you later.
See ya.
Yeah, well done,
There he
Peter
is.
Carey.
The great
He
Peter
is.
Carey, paying tribute. Graham Campbell, after a long illness,
Very
passes
sad.
at the age of 85, had a stellar playing career, 151 games with Fitzroy,
did.
was the best and fairest.
Yeah, then
went
coached
into
him
the
a couple of
coaching.
times.
Yep.
Yep.
West Perth won a flag with them, comes to Glenelg, helps build that dynasty at the base.
Well, he did, and that's why I asked Soup that. He made Super the captain. You know, Ross Gibbs gets there, Moose Henwood, an ex-teammate of mine. He set them up 83, 84. And like he said, I've got to be careful because, Stud, you know what? You've got to have the coach
That's right.
that puts the
Foundations.
down. Then you've got to have the one that puts the cherry on the top.
That's right.
Now, it got reversed with Cornsey because he moves on. Malcolm Blight comes
Yeah.
in after the goose that went in before him, and he put the cherry on the top.
Lost
But
his-
Cornsey did a lot of that groundwork.
Lost his first 8 at the base, Campbell, so it didn't start well for him.
Oh, God bless him. Good man.
So there you go. Thank you, Peter Carey, for
Thanks,
coming on
Sue.
and sharing those memories. And again, condolences to the family.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
The last 2 years have seen our country change, and litter in the environment is at an all-time high. Will you step up on Clean Up Australia Day? And if not you, who? And if not then, when? Join hundreds of thousands of Aussies and show you care on Clean Up Australia Day, Sunday the 6th of March. Register today at cleanup.org.au to receive your free kit. That's cleanup.org.au.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Phil Hoffman of Phil Hoffman Travel.
Well, it's my name on the door, and so at the end of the day, if someone needs something, I'm there to make sure that it happens. Really, we are the architects of anyone's travel. There's no need to sift through the internet and get confused. We have 10 convenient locations through South Australia, plus a great website and online service, but qualified staff to look after you all the time. And also, when anything happens, we're there with a 24/7 backup. The internet is not, and it's our personal touch to give you that all the time.
Visit pht.com.au.
Okadawn Creative Industries is a First Nations business connecting Australia's ancient cultures with today's corporations through Reconciliation Action Plans. A Reconciliation Action Plan is an opportunity to drive change, be a preferred employer, and build a dynamic and diverse team with greater cultural awareness. Okadawn can help you discover how a Reconciliation Action Plan can evolve and enhance your business. Okadawn Creative Industries, okadawn.com.au, bringing your story to life.
It's a frightening thought. But what if you lost capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who gets your superannuation? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes to the letter. Wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 14. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Michaela Kamarak.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
The state government has announced a gradual return of elective surgery after it was cancelled due to a rise in COVID cases. From Monday, February 7, day surgery in the private sector and country procedures will return. The following week, day surgery in the public sector will go ahead, while all other elective surgery will be back by the end of this month. 3 more COVID deaths have been recorded in SA today, while there's been a drop in new case numbers, with 1,000 1,266 reported. The state government's playing down a productivity commission report showing we have the worst ambulance response times of all capital cities. Health Minister Stephen Wade says there's been a significant investment since then.
Since that report was released, we've allocated a budget allocation for another 74 ambulance officers, and we've doubled our graduate paramedic intern program from 48 to 96. This government will continue to invest in the ambulance services, but also, very importantly, in alternative care pathways.
The clean-up's underway in Port Augusta after heavy rain last night. More than 50 mils fell in around an hour. That's 4 times its average January rainfall. Michelle Coles from the Port Augusta Cinema says it was unlike anything before.
A lot of people had a lot of damage done last night. We had roofs collapse. There's businesses down the main street that are cleaning out all their stock. People have lost their homes. People have lost carpets, and floods have gone through their actual homes. So there's a lot of damage, and you can see that it's been here. There's a lot of debris around, a lot of mud and slush that the council are cleaning up.
The Reserve Bank will stop pumping $4 billion into the economy each week in a sign the country's financial position has stabilised. The stimulus measure will stop from the 10th of February, a few weeks earlier than expected. The RBA board has also decided to keep interest rates at a record low of 0.1%. A senior government minister has responded to comments allegedly made by the former New South Wales Premier about the Prime Minister. In leaked text messages, Gladys Berejiklian allegedly described Scott Morrison as a horrible person who she did not trust. An unnamed cabinet minister allegedly responded, describing the PM as a fraud and a complete psycho. Health Minister Greg Hunt has defended Mr Morrison, his leadership and handling of the pandemic.
He is one of the most decent human beings I've ever had the privilege to work with. So I'm a bit emotional about that. I hadn't heard that before. But I think it's time for somebody to stand up and say, you know, it's always controversial being in Parliament. It's always controversial being in the ministry or being the Prime Minister.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
The all-new Kia Sportage is in store at New Spot Kia Salisbury Park. Order now to avoid delays.
The West Coast Eagles are hopeful forward Jack Darling will be back at the club this season despite his vaccination stance. Coach Adam Simpson admits his hands are tied.
There's not much we can do at the moment, so it's probably between Jack and the club to work through, and obviously the mandate's in place, so it's out of my hands personally.
Australia only needs one win in the 3 one-day matches against England to secure the Women's Ashes. The Aussies hold a 6-4 lead after a tense draw in the Test match. All-rounder Annabelle Sutherland says they're not overthinking the change back to the white ball.
I don't think much changes, to be honest. I think we've had a lot of success in one-day cricket over the last few years, so we're pretty confident that our cricket can get the job done.
And there's been wins for Philadelphia, Indiana and Cleveland in the NBA. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Complete windscreens, same-day service and best price guaranteed. Proudly South Australian since 1976. Complete windscreens.
Kensington got a two-car crash, South Road near Everard Avenue. Motorbank speeds reduced for works around the intersection of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road, just at the bottom of the freeway. Trinity Gardens, slow going for the intersection upgrade works at Portrush and McGill Roads. And we've got cameras today, Mount Barker Road, Bridgewater, Nairn Road, Woodside and Pickett Range Road at Clarendon. With access to the right resources, parents and teachers can really change a kid's life. Visit callaustralia.org to find education resources for a better world. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 14. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Thursday, partly cloudy, 24. And Friday, mostly sunny, 28. Right now, it's 21. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
A decision on when the elective surgery ban will be lifted. South Australia's COVID case milestone on a landmark day of the pandemic. The flood emergency hits a new part of the state, all the latest. SA's blood donation crisis and the COVID rules to know if you can help. And a local aggressive breast cancer breakthrough. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News Tonight at 6.
This is Rowey's Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Leith Forrest.
7 minutes after 5, big hour on the way. Mark Woodford's going to join us, the legend of Australian tennis, to talk about what was an incredible summer. We'll get to your calls. A lot of emails and SMS coming through on the Sip and Save text line. This one from Chops at Cheltenham on the back of the chat with Peter Supercarry. You'll like this one. Graham Campbell, the footy punt segment, Rowey, he used to come up with the gem Port by Plenty. 1 to 10. Wasn't quite
remember him.
As plenty.
No.
Bernice, I'm not even going to read yours. You're going to get Rowey in trouble there, but thank you for sending that in and spending your 55 cents.
She's talking about the Khyber Pass.
Yeah,
we're going to keep it above the belly button, Leith.
Exactly. We won't be going down that path. A lot of text messages coming through on Justin Langer, which we'll address. Just recapping for those who didn't hear the start of the show, an incredible day for Australian cricket on the back of the story written by Tom Morris. Justin Langer, you would think he would be safe in his job, but not so.
Well, he should be. T20 World Cup, 4-0 in the Ashes. You should be able to write your ticket, but apparently the dogs are barking. There's a bit of a player, let's not call it a revolt. There's some players that aren't quite happy. The executive have got to report to the board. The board will sit sometime this week. I'm flabbergasted with this one.
So Nick Hockley is the boss of Cricket Australia, had this to say on Boxing Day.
So there's no question Justin will see out his contract. That goes through to the middle of next year. Obviously, once we get through the Ashes, we want to sit down and work out where we go from there. There's a lead time. There's a tour of Pakistan. So there's a lot of great cricket coming up. But as I said, we'll sit down and review where we're at the end of the Ashes.
What more do you need to know? The man won the Ashes. The man won the T20 World Cup.
I need to hear from our skipper. I need to hear from a Test cricketer. I need somebody to get in his corner, because silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. And the silence now is not good.
On that Boxing Day, Justin Langer had this to say.
I've never thought differently, to be honest. I've been consistent with what I've said for the last 4 years. I love my job and the boys are playing well, no doubt about it. It's a great team to be involved in. So, yeah, nothing's changed from my point of view.
How does it play out?
I'm fearful for him. If it was a fait accompli and everyone was happy and the score's on the board, which it is, you'd extend him straight away. How many years you want? 2 years, 3 years, 4. The next 2 years, we've got a away Ashes tour in England. We've got India in India, Pakistan coming up. I know we've got West Indies. We've also got Sri Lanka in a Test series. We've got to defend the T20 World Cup. This is a critical decision. So because they haven't made it, makes me think that one of those New South Welshmen, Ms. Warner, Smith, Lyon, Stark, Hazelwood, and I love Paddy Cummins, one of them's clearly not happy and the player power is talking.
Maybe there
or not
is
talking.
more. I don't think your coach has to be all touchy-feely either. Do you think Bill Belichick is a warm, inviting coach? Do you think Greg Popovich is a warm... Sir Alex Ferguson?
We had a text.
Hard taskmasters.
We had a text on the Sip and Save text line. Maybe they need to harden up the P155, as Bix would call them. Maybe they do.
Brett from Hillbank has a thought on this.
Hello, Brett.
Yeah, g'day, fellas. Look, I seriously believe that these players, that they've got too much say. I mean, what do they want? They want a coach that's going to turn a blind eye, and look what happened last time they had a coach that sort of let the players do what they want. I mean, you know, I think the players have got short memories. If this is what they want, I think they really need to have a good, hard look at themselves and toughen up a bit because, look, I think he's the best option. I mean, look at the record. I mean, it speaks for itself, and that's all I've got to say, fellas. Thank you very much.
No, well done, Brett, and I agree with that. If you're going to move on somebody, who's going to replace them? Now, if there's a bloke like Ricky Ponting there, I could understand that the board could waver a bit. The executive might ask questions because it is an important 2 years. 2 years you'll never get back as a player. So if there is a bit of unrest and you've got a bloke that's ready to go, well, maybe pull the trigger. But don't hang Justin Langer out to dry.
No.
He hasn't been home since September. He loves that job, loves the group. OK, he's a bit intense. He's pulled back where he's needed to pull back. But don't be disrespectful. He's an Australian Cricket Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He just got inducted last week.
And it's a dangerous precedent because if you do this now, what happens if the players don't like the next coach? Well, you get rid of him too?
Yeah, don't listen to players. Hello, Troy.
Happy New Year, Rowey and Lee.
Yeah, good to hear from you, young fella. Locked away there in WA. He can't leave, can't go. No one can come in.
No, well, life is normal, Rowey. Now, I'm asking this respectfully, Rowey.
Shoot.
Your mum and dad good with the situation, or...?
Oh, well, they're in their 80s, Troy, so they don't want anyone coming in. Well, I miss them, they miss me, but
No.
they're in
really.
Mandurah, and apparently there's a bit of COVID in there.
Yeah.
They saw how crook I was, Troy, and they don't want to get it. And I don't want them to get it, mate. I'm fearful.
Well, my dad's 91 in March next year, and
There
he's
you go.
the same, but, you know, just... Anyway, I've got that nice part out there. I'm going to be nice all day, all year this year. I've made a thing, Rowey.
You're always nice, Troy.
Oh, thank you. Hey, was it Mike Cowan that you had on?
Yeah, Mike Coward.
Yeah. Oh, what a brilliant person he is. Now, he's got a... of course, I'm going to back Justin all the way because I'm from Western Australia, but it's us versus them, Rowey, as it always is. But the question that I've got, I reckon Justin's going to be the scapegoat here. The players, sounds like some of the players don't want him. And with that Mike that you had on, he said that, and I agree with, management hasn't been good. So he's going to be the scapegoat out of it all. And the other thing that Mike said that I took real interest to was obsession and passion, very fine line. And so is arrogance and confidence, Rowey.
Yeah, he did make some good points. You picked them up well, Troy, I agree. He blamed a rudderless board, a board that's lacking leadership, and you'd have to admit that.
No doubt. And don't think that Ricky Ponting's going to be touchy-feely either. I could see him fire up Justin Langer style, maybe not as intense, but I think Ricky would just let you know if you didn't like what you were doing.
Of course.
So it's interesting if that is the player's perspective. Nathan from Salisbury North before the break.
Nath.
Yeah, right there you go.
Yeah,
Welcome back, Rowey.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, good. I knew that virus wouldn't hang around too long with you, mate.
Oh, well, I tell you one thing, the Chinese have made something that lasts more than 3 days, mate. It got me.
That was an average joke, but yeah, I got it out.
Hook,
now,
line,
look, I want to talk to you about... I want to just quickly on JL, mate. I reckon it's heading south. I think I'll read between the lines of what's going to eventually happen. I just think it's horrendous leadership from Cricket Australia.
Yep.
I just think you've got to show a little bit of respect and a bit of class and say, look, JL, when we were in trouble, we went to you, you led us beautifully, thank you for everything. But we want to move on in a different direction, and I think that's poor that hasn't been done. And then the media, and I think this has been going on for, 4 months now, there's been talk about his next contract. Show a little bit of respect and class for what is an Australian cricket legend. Paid the price of a cricket lifetime, blood, sweat, tears, played the game. There was one game in South Africa cussed in the first inning. We were in trouble. Put the pads on, helmet on, in out, and batted when we went 9 down. First ball bouncer, he looked at the bowler and just smiled. Bowler gave him another one. He spanked it through mid-wicket and hit the winning run.
Yeah.
Come on.
We know the competitor, Nathan, no question, JL. It's unrivalled. He was just a fighter. He was great, terrific teammate. They've all come out and they've all supported him. He deserves the respect that this was kept in-house. It wasn't. That's on management. That's on their media. That's on all of them. And he deserves the respect now to get this sorted ASAP. I mean, make a speedy board meeting. If the board meeting's scheduled for the 20th or the 25th of Feb, get it earlier.
Yeah, well,
you're hanging him out to dry.
Michael Vaughan said it on this very show about a week ago that England would take him in a heartbeat. And could you imagine if England got Justin Langer as their coach and they started to bore it up Australia in terms of results? We'll see how that all plays out. The other stories floating around for FIVEAA Milk, the Socceroos are in action. 2:30 tomorrow, World Cup qualifier. They will play in Oman. Here's the coach, Graham Arnold.
The most important thing for me again is ourselves and that we perform right and we perform to my expectations and our expectations as a team and making sure that we get all that right, and then the result will look after itself.
So there's Arnie in a tunnel in Oman. He's out of ISO though, so that is the
good news. He hasn't got COVID. We're Pool B. In Pool B, the top two automatically qualify for the World Cup. We're sitting third on 14. So Saudi Arabia are 19, Japan are 15. Here's the equation. We simply have to win 2:30 tomorrow morning. It's free to air on Channel 10 because we got Japan at home on the 24th of March and then we've got Saudi Arabia in Saudi on the 29th of March. Now, okay, you'll say Japan are playing Saudi Arabia so they could cancel themselves out. If they get a draw and we lose this game and one of the others, we've got to come through as the best qualifier. No! We have to win tomorrow. I'm getting up, Leaf.
Are you?
No, but I'd like to. I'm going to set the alarm. I'm going to try my hardest.
Watch the highlights. Can't hang in at 2:30. That's a tough watch. Maybe record it. Try not to, as Cornsey does when he walks around the office.
But that's
Don't tell me the
cheating.
score.
You've got to
Don't
get
tell me the
up.
score.
Get your Socceroos cap on, put your scarf on and cheer.
You're more patriotic than I am. Let's head across to the US before we finish. Will he or won't he? Interesting story played out in the US over the last few days. Is Tom Brady retiring? Because two of their great journalists, Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, came out and said he's done. Tom is done. The GOAT has hung up the boots. Then his agent came out and said,
hang on.
You want to hold on? His dad was quoted saying, you just might want to hold on to your horses. Tom has finally spoken. He's got a podcast called Let's Go. Here's what Tom had to say.
It's a good week for me. I'm just still going through the process that I said I was going through. So sometimes it takes some time to really evaluate how you feel and what you want to do. And I think when the time's right, I'll be ready to make a decision one way or another. It's day to day with me. I'm just trying to do the best I can every day and trying to make a great decision for me and my family.
Come on, mate. It's a $10 million decision.
What do you read into that?
What would it be on? 10 mil, 12 mil, 14? Let's say he gets 8 mil. It's an $8 million decision. Of course he'll play on.
Don't know.
If they want him,
Don't know.
why wouldn't he?
No, I think the legacy, mate, his finish to get them back to as close as they were, all sorts, in the start of the last quarter. And then he got them down from 28-3 to getting equal, and then they lost by a field goal.
Wasn't that a cracking game?
It was unbelievable. It's a nice way to go out.
That weekend of the NFL was unbelievable.
You don't want to see
49ers
Tom
beaten Green Bay.
dropped or bailed out. It's a nice way for him to go. Giselle wants him to stay. We'll see. And the other one, unfortunately, Adelaide's own Joe Ingles, we know, is out now with an ACL.
Oh, my goodness. Ingles slips, and he is hurt. And that...
No.
That is... man... He is writhing in pain. You can hear a pin drop inside Target Center. Man, Joe Ingles is one of the good guys in this league.
Yes, he is. That is not good news for Joe
Jingles.
at all.
Before we do go to the break, I'm going to throw this question out. The lines are available. There's 3 days to go until the Beijing Winter Olympics. Who's pumped? Who's supportive of it? And who cares? Now, I'm a little bit biased with this. I support our athletes that want to compete and want to go. This is their dream, their life, 4 years of hard work. They roll around every 4 years. But I don't know whether I could support China on the back of recent events. Let's just call it recent events. I won't get specific with that. People know what I'm talking about. I don't reckon I'd have gone. I'd have put my flag in the ground and said, China, get stuffed.
No, I think as an athlete, it comes around every 4. You're going. I think if you're an athlete, you're
going.
Can
you support them? I can't. I had the vid.
Yeah, no, I think you do. I mean, we supported the Summer Olympics. So what do you do? Are you going to take that dream away from athletes who have been busting their chops for 4 years?
I'm supporting them. Well, 822-300-00. What do you think?
Where would you put it? I think the bigger question is...
I wouldn't go. Would you go? You honestly be happy to go to China?
If I'd trained my guts out for 4 years, I'd be going. I would selfishly be going.
Just selfishly just go. Yep. That's it as an athlete.
Well, Russia is allowed in the Olympics and they go under a different flag and play a different song. We still let them in. They're cheats.
No, they play under the Olympic flag.
Yeah.
They don't fly under their flag.
Which is red, white and blue.
Who's pumped and supportive of the Olympics and would you go? Would you go?
Let me ask you this question.
Can
you name one Winter Olympian? You know, years gone by, there was Stephen Bradbury and Lydia Lucilla and Alyssa Kemp.
Dalbeig Smith all won gold.
Can't name one.
We've won 3 medals at each of the last 3 Winter Olympics. We're gradually getting better. In total, how many Winter Olympic gold medals do you reckon we've won? It's between 4 and 6 because we're out of time.
Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We bet above. But yeah, you're learning as you're watching.
I ain't going to China.
All right. Have you say 8223 You're a little biased. On air at 588.com.au.
Will you wait till you get the vid?
044. I've got a healthy diet, mate. I am just flying. Chewies and iced coffee, mate. Get you through. 044 808 1395. Just go.
Time to find out what's making news in the Channel 7 newsroom as we welcome Jane Doyle to the show. And Jane, Port Augusta is underwater.
Well, you'd reckon pretty much close to it. They got 50 mils in 50 minutes. It's a 1 in a 100-year storm, and we've got some extraordinary pictures. Wow. There were quite a few swiftwater rescues had to be undertaken. Meantime, we're on board one of the RAF planes as it delivers supplies to poor old isolated Coober Pedy. It's 2 years today since our first COVID case in South Australia. We'll have the latest figures for you. Interest rates have been left at their record low level today by the RBA, so some people will be breathing a sigh of relief. Now, in sport, what really went on at a meeting between Aussie coach Justin Langer and Cricket Australia's CEO. And sadly, if you were watching 7 News last night, you would have seen the incident with Aussie basketballer Joe Ingles. He needs a full knee reconstruction. We'll have the details and the rest of the day's top stories for you tonight at 6 in 7 News. I'll see you then.
Thanks, Jane. That's Jane Doyle and all the team at Channel 7. There's only one choice, 7 News, tonight at 6.
Terry White Chemmart has real deals on fragrances this Valentine's Day, like 70% off Burberry, 40% off Dolce & Gabbana and 35% off Paco Rabanne. Get real deals every day at Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry. T's and C's apply. Sale ends Feb 15.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is back and doubled the fun with 2 Scott Salisbury homes in Somerton Park to be won. Just moments from the beach. Both homes are fully furnished, absolutely stunning, and ready for you to live your dream mortgage-free. With a catalogue of more than 15,000 prizes to win, tickets won't last long. Get yours today and join the fight at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14133.
Papa, when we go see the twins, can we go down to the lake?
Only if Kate's with you, or Mum and I are there too. What are you sighing about?
I can swim.
I know you can. You're a very good swimmer. But are you forgetting the 5?
How can I forget the 5? You make me say it 10 times a day.
Slight exaggeration.
Fence the pool, shut the gate, teach your kids to swim, it's great. Supervise, watch your mate, and learn how to resuscitate.
Supervise, Harper, supervise. I'm Laurie Lawrence. Kids Alive.
Do the 5!
At Southern Cross Care, we understand that your retirement needs are unique. That's why we offer better retirement living options at a location and price to suit your lifestyle. Affordable, beautifully refurbished one-bedroom units from Payneham to Paraka to Plympton. All homes are well appointed with maintenance taken care of. Plus, you'll have access to Southern Cross Care's award-winning services. These vibrant, welcoming communities offer a better retirement lifestyle. For more on retirement living, Google Southern Cross Care.
And the Polar Air Heating and Cooling Salesperson of the Month is... no one. Again. Polar Air Heating and Cooling don't have a sales department. The person that comes to you for a free no-obligation quote is a qualified installer, not someone chasing a commission. So, you'll get exactly what you need. No steak knives. Get ahead of the weather. We're ready to install your air conditioner now. Polar Air Heating and Cooling. For when your lair is unbearable. polarairhc.com.au.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
24 minutes after 5, let's check the traffic for your drive home.
Hey, Craig Moore got a car into a fence, Yorktown Road near Turner Drive. Myrtle Bank speeds reduced there for works around the intersection of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road. Ovingham slow going at the moment, Torrens Road at Churchill Road speeds at 40 and Trinity Gardens slow going for intersection upgrade works at Portrush and McGill Roads. Cameras on the drive home, Happy Valley Drive, Happy Valley and Main South Road at O'Halloran Hill. Burbank Homes inside out sale. Start your home with a 10k Bunnings voucher or home finishing upgrade pack. $1,000 deposit gets you started. burbank.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Zip and save text messages coming through thick and fast. Rowey David Parkin as a coach. Did the players like him? Did the players respect him? He was vocal with his instructions. This is a different generation. Thank you, Fred.
Well, so was Malcolm Blight. Coaches I've had. Cornsey was very vocal and hard. Neil Craig. A lot of the coaches in that era. It's a different era.
Different generation of kids.
The kids
don't
are
like
different.
To be yelled at. Are the boneheads in Cricket Australia the same ones involved with the Tim Payne fiasco?
That is a great sip and save text. Yes, they are.
Interesting.
Yes, they are.
This one from Bernice. She says, the Khyber Pass and the Kabul Gorge between Afghanistan and Pakistan have some great scenery. Very rugged. We're advised not to take many photos. I don't know what the problem is with my message. That might have been our fault, Bernice.
No, it was. But Bernice, I tend to get a little bit juvenile when I hear funny things like Khyber Pass, and you know what Khyber Pass refers to without getting too specific. And we didn't want to get too Khyber Passing.
I think, was there not a Carry On film? carry on Khyber, I reckon. Kick it up the Khyber, something like that.
Straight up the cod.
Hey, a little taste, Mark Woodford on the other side of the news, a little taste of our last shout where we sort of find the stories that interest or if there's a little bit of reminiscing to be done. Do you know on this day in 1991, February 1st, the Adelaide Football Club named their squads for their first trial matches against opposition? You might remember some of these names coming through. At 6 p.m, the curtain raiser was the Adelaide B team versus the Eagles.
So it was played tonight back in 1991.
45,000 people went.
There was more than
to
that.
a trial match.
That's the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of.
45,000.
There was over 50,000. Footy Park. Hey, Bertie, David Burtonshaw, who worked at the Crows, we know him really well, he sent the tweet, so that's why I knew it.
So you've got Rudy Mandermaker and Mark Bigley playing in the twos, Chris McDermott coming back from injuries in the two, the rifleman Grant Tanner, Trigger Tregenza, Rouvray, Liptak, Brown, Hanley, Heradia, Paisley, etc. in the Eagles side. A couple of well-known names. Paul Bullis was playing for the Eagles back then. Robbie Popplestone, Robbie Pyman, that would be, McCarthy, Lacocious. So not a bad little lineup there for that side. But what about this? Adelaide v Essendon, 8 p.m, Football Park, February 1, 1991.
It was unbelievable.
Adelaide v Essendon.
You know what I can remember most vividly about it was going there. We all got there late because the traffic was just next level. The game started at 8, but it was one of those really hot, humid Indian red skies. It was there was not a puff of breeze. You could feel people breathing. That's how dead the night was with wind. It was a cracking night. The first time we ever put the strip on, and we played Essendon and beat them.
The Crows' spine: Hodges, Klug, Jarman, Bartlett, Warhurst. Followers: Negri, McGuinness, Hart, and on the interchange bench, Darren Smith, the Scud Eddie Hocking, Mark Rubbers Micken, and Stephen Rowe.
Well, of course I was on the bench.
How good is that?
Played my whole career.
Not a bad
at the Crows
side for
on
the Bombers too. Salmon and Anthony Danaher, Izard, Somerville, Grenvold, Big Simon Madden, Cecilesio. Let's take you back to 1991.
45,000 people came down here to Football Park tonight to witness a tremendous occasion. They weren't quite sure what to expect, but what they got was a powerhouse performance from the Adelaide Crows. The Crows went into the game as underdogs. No one had ever seen them before, but they led at every change. And at the final siren, they were virtually kicking away from the Bombers. The final score, the Adelaide Crows 13-14-92 beat the Bombers 10-5-65. It was a great night.
There you go.
32 years ago today. How can that be true? That was Andy Kay.
That was.
Or 31 years ago, sorry.
Andy Kay, former KG producer, now boss of Channel 7 Adelaide, head of their Olympics coverage. How good is that? Here's the coach post-trial match.
Given the fact our preparation had been so intense, we wanted a very good performance tonight to justify that and to gauge how effective it had been. And the performance was good against very spirited opposition, and you know, the fact that we had such a great crowd and such a great atmosphere obviously meant that we were looking for a very good result.
Stud, he sounds different nowadays.
He's on helium there. Loosen the pants, Graham. What is that voice?
He's got the Harry High Pants voice.
Let's have it.
Given the fact our preparation had been so intense, we wanted a very good performance.
That is dead set Cornsey sucked the helium balloon and just given the press conference.
Yep. Squeaky man.
32 years ago.
No, 31.
31 years ago.
31 years ago.
And you remember it like that?
Oh, look, I do. It was one of those real special football moments. The first time the crowd saw the tricolours, and to think in that 31 years they've won 2 flags and lost, 6 prelims. Still don't have a home.
Graham tells the story that they weren't quite sure how many people were going to go, and then all of a sudden the boulevard was chock-a-block.
It was unreal.
45 to 50,000 there for the trial match. You might have been there. If you want to share your memory, please do. 8223 0000 on this day, 1991, February 1st, the Adelaide Crows, Essendon. And you got the chocolates.
And we beat them.
Yeah, a couple of Bombers fans texting already. A little cut up
a little bit of sugi lala.
Paddy?
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. Elective surgery is set to gradually resume in SA after being suspended for almost a month due to COVID-19. Australia's central bank has kept interest rates at a record low while announcing an end to its multi-billion-dollar stimulus program. An independent report has found bullying, sexism and racism is commonplace at mining giant Rio Tinto, and Cricket Australia has denied national men's coach Justin Justin Langer was asked to reapply for his position. Now checking 5AA traffic.
And Craig Moore got a car into a fence, Yorktown Road near Turner Drive. Myrtle Bank, speeds reduced there for works around the intersection of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road. Ovingham, slow going at the moment. Torrens Road at Churchill Road, speeds at 40. And Trinity Gardens, slow going for intersection upgrade works at Portrush and McGill Roads. Cameras on the drive home, Happy Valley Drive, Happy Valley, and Main South Road at O'Halloran Hill. Burbank Homes, inside out sale. Start your home with a 10K Bunnings voucher or home finishing upgrade pack. $1 grand deposit gets you started. burbank.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Cloudy tonight, a low of 14. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Right now, it's 20. More news at 6 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
5AA Breakfast.
We all have a bad day at work, but I think that collectively the South Australian judiciary had an absolute shocker yesterday. We got a text earlier, and I got to say, I could not agree with it more, from Wayne. G'day, fellas. I'm absolutely disgusted and furious that Anthony Ogar can be granted bail after allegedly murdering his wife at Port Hughes. What is happening to our judicial system? 100% Wayne.
Informing Adelaide.
This sends the most deplorable signal.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
I'm Travis Denham from Again Real Estate. It's often just one special feature that helps spark interest in a home. Outdoor blinds used to create entertaining areas really set a home apart. They add extra appeal to patios and alfresco areas, an investment that adds value for sure.
Improve, invest and add value with quality outdoor blinds by Country. Visit countryblinds.com.au for a free measure and quote.
Everybody loves their country.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. When you need a forklift, don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Get the world's #1 forklift brand. Get legendary Toyota reliability. Get world-leading safety and get it from toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage for sales, service and hire. Get a Toyota forklift.
You've selected your block up on the York Peninsula and now you just want to be there every weekend. Selector Homes have been building transportable homes for over 25 years. They have a huge range of designs and importantly, their team really listen and are totally flexible with design options. You're not only selecting a fixed price with no hidden costs, you're selecting the best weekends ever. Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Okadorn Creative Industries is a First Nations business connecting Australia's ancient cultures with today's corporations through Reconciliation Action Plans. A Reconciliation Action Plan is an opportunity to drive change, be a preferred employer and build a dynamic and diverse team with greater cultural awareness. Okadorn can help you discover how a Reconciliation Action Plan can evolve and enhance your business. Okadorn Creative Industries, okadorn.com.au, bringing your story to life.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
25 minutes to 6. We're going to speak to a legend very shortly. Mark Woodford is in town. He's been back in Australia covering the Australian Open at tennis. A lot of people sending text messages through. If you're at the trial match back in 91 on this day, February the 1st, we'd love to hear. 8223 0000. We might have to find Brad a prize. He said the first Crows trial match Rowey coincided with the Perth Ashes Test Day 1. I'm stuck in traffic. England lost their third wicket for 191. We're all out for 244. Wow. Remember being stuck in the car in traffic listening to wicket after wicket fall.
Cheers, Brad. That is a great memory.
We'll send you to Powell's.
So he clearly wasn't listening to 5AA.
$50 voucher to Parafield Airport Liquor Store. And I want to thank Andy Kay too. So we played the audio. Andy Kay did a report from Football Park. So
yes, he did.
He just heard the end of that, and he also was very nice to send us through a list of every Australian Winter Olympian, because of course you can see the Winter Olympics on Channel 7 live and free on Channel 7.
Ceremony on Friday. We'll be all glued to the telly. I want to watch it. I support them.
That's what I'm saying. That's on us that we don't know the Winter Olympians, because we don't follow alpine skiing and that regularly. But once you get behind, you're a chance to win a medal or do well, you're all over it. So we'll see how that plays out. Fingers crossed we can add to the 5 gold medals that we have previously.
Let's go to our next guest. He's one of the 2 Woodies. He's our very own. He's an absolute star. Speak of Mark Woodford. Mark, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm looking forward to the Olympics as well. God, I hope we can bring home a bunch of gold, huh?
Well, talking about Olympics, you won a gold. What was that in the 96 Atlanta Games?
Yeah, good memory. Yeah, it was. That was, came away with a gold there, and then I saw it would have been nice to have finished with a gold as well in Sydney, but hey, I'm not... I don't
got the silver. Yeah. We're going to get on to the Special Ks and the tennis, but while I've got you, because you are an Olympian, I said earlier I wouldn't go if I was an athlete to the Beijing Chinese Olympics. You've been. You know how special it is. Would you go? Would you support it?
I mean, I get spotlight on China and what's happening with, and look, there's that tennis connection, obviously, with Peng Shuai. So it does raise, everyone's eyebrows on, should they be going? I'm more of the opinion of, for me personally, is sports. Politics. I know that we can all take a stand and a position. But I just think in regards to the Olympics, there been any controversy, for Atlanta or Sydney, I still would have tried to compete. I think that can speak more volumes than perhaps stepping out. That's not everyone's going to agree with it. But for me, I think I'd go and see if there's something you can accomplish by going and you being united as the athlete.
Yeah, well said. Your tennis royalty, Hall of Fame doubles player, Woody. I'm going to start with the Special Ks. It was a special win. Talk us through it.
Oh, I mean, it was quite remarkable. I mean, for them to start the tournament, probably with that idea that they're just there to win a couple of matches and supplement their singles. And that's, I think the view of a lot of top singles players when they're arriving at Grand Slams, and they just want to get that little extra match practice. But Tanasi and Nick have got this incredible talent. We all know that. And they're a dangerous pair. They don't have to practice doubles regularly. Their singles talent, it flows over into the doubles court. And as they're going along, playing at home, beating these doubles-only guys who are absolutely shattered with all of the attention and having to play against such a solid tandem, I think they just really panicked. And, here's Nick and Tanasi thrust into the semis and ultimately the final. They had to change their mindset because the longer they stayed in the tournament, obviously the title was there for the taking. So I hope they're aware that there's people, like myself. I'm sure Todd. I mean, I know that he was doing some media about, that these guys are the favourites because of the unquestionable talent that they bring to the court. And yes, there's a ton of people. There's a ton of support. And when you're playing big matches and you've got a bit of crowd support behind you, that can make maybe a 2-3 point swing at key moments, and that's what happened for them, and now they can call themselves Grand Slam champions because that's what we all set out to achieve. I mean, I know you try to reach number one in the world. There may be some other accolades, but it's really important. I think such a feather in your cap. They can say, we're Grand Slam champions.
It is terrific. They don't exactly play what you'd call the classic strategic doubles game, do they? They look like two singles blokes that have got together and their power game just blew the other Aussies off the court.
Yeah. Look, and don't forget Max, their opponents, Max and Maddie. They are singles players as well. They just haven't had that same level of success as Tanasi and Nick, and I think that's why they also arrived at the final. Todd and I, singles was always the priority. There was never a tournament where we arrived and just played doubles. So I think it shows that, in order to accomplish great things on the doubles court, you should be playing singles. And if you're going to accomplish great things on the singles court, I think you should be supplementing your game by playing some doubles. And it was just fantastic. They are a danger. At the presentation ceremony, which was a tremendous honour to be asked, to present the trophies, given that we were the last pair to win. I whispered over to Todd, heard me before, but to Craig, and I said, I hope these guys realise they could win other slams, and they don't have to play other, week in, week out. They can really pick and choose, be so selective. But that's the quality that they bring to the doubles court. They're a dangerous pair.
Yeah. You're a proud South Aussie. We'll concentrate a little bit on Thanasi Kokonakis. Played out of his skin. Isn't it great to see? He's had some adversity, that lad. He's got some talent.
Yeah, he does. He does. And I was extremely disappointed that I wasn't able to get home to get my plans in order to be here for, those 2 weeks in Adelaide. But, I was watching, back in the US and watching his progress, of course, always, wanting to see other South Australians, this next generation come through. And, it was fantastic to see him handle the pressures. There are pressures when, not only when you just step onto the court, but you're under the spotlight when you play at home. What was sensational was to see the smile on Tanasi's face in Adelaide 1, and then obviously the success that came with Adelaide 2. That's what he needs, but he's still what he has struggled with before, perhaps that expectation that he puts on himself, it's going to still be there now. It's just a matter of whether he can handle it in a stronger way, or he's better equipped to face what comes with being a professional who really week in, week out, you need to arrive and you've got to be ready to play.
What about Rafa? His 21st title. Oh, goodness me. It kind of takes your breath away. I think I said on air with SEN, it was like, what the heck? Here's this guy that, was barely, functioning a number of months ago and struggling with COVID as well. And he arrives and, what can you say? This record of Roland Garros wins is never going to be beaten. And even though he's now clinched 21 Grand Slams, there's still, for the moment, I think he deservedly should be titled the greatest of all time. Yes.
This is what I think separates the three of them, because they all can put their hands up, whether they're the greatest clay court, or the greatest hard court, or the greatest grass court, etc. might be. But, it really is going to come down to, I think, for me, the tally of Grand Slams. And for the moment, Rafa's got his hands around it, and I think we should be calling the greatest of all time. I think there's more of the storyline to be played out. Clearly, this is going to motivate Novak as long as he can get back into play some of these slams. But how in the hell does he do it? From 2 sets of love down at 35, he's giving away 10 years.
I know. It was great, but equally as good. I'm going to save the best for last. Our very own Ash Barty, who made an Aussie Open win, won 5 down and won that second set with that steely resolve. I've said it a number of times, Woody, you're the same. You made me proud to be an Australian. Paddy Rafter made me proud to be an Australian. She makes me proud to be an Australian.
She is so Australian. I think when I'm describing her, if I'm covering tournaments overseas, and and I just kind of say she is so Australian. She's just so laid back. Her feet are so grounded, and she's like the promotions that she's done. She's a happy little Vegemite.
Yes.
She has. The last 12 months handling, the pressure, the spotlight of winning Wimbledon has really prepared her for the victory at the Australian Open, and without taking anything away of the US Open, that was a slip up, but she didn't play badly there. She forced Shelby Rogers to play at a high level, and when you're the best out there and you suffer a loss, I don't think you fear it. It's not that you don't fear losing. It's you're aware that you actually force your opponent to play above themselves, and I think that's what happened at the US Open. But the ladies that she's coming up at to the Australian Open and then the draw, they're still talking about it. It's not like Ash has just come onto the scene over the last 12 months. She's been there for a while, but now they can't find a chink in her armour. She's standing tall, she's standing above them, and she deserves the title.
Yeah, well said. Good to hear you're home and safe and all that. How's COVID been with you, Woody, living in the US? Have you dodged it?
I dodged it for majority of the time. We did. My family, my wife, and my daughters. We did have it November of 2020, which didn't knock us too badly. Good. But we've recovered, and but like you said, I'm thrilled to be home and to be staying with family, and hopefully I'm going to get a tour of the new facilities, because I was sitting back, as I said, watching the Adelaide tournament, and I was really down that I wasn't there, and to help out after so many years. But I'm kind of a bit proud as well, because I know that we focused on trying to have the government provide funding along with Tennis Australia to improve the facilities, and it looks so great.
Yes.
It looked great flying over the top of it on Monday when I flew in, so I'm hoping I can get to a tour over the next few days as well.
You're a big part of that. I'm sure you will, Woody. Thanks for your time.
Great talking to you guys.
Mark, just before you go, did you bring your walking top with you? Can we expect to see you pounding the pavement in that navy blue top of yours?
In the Carlton Guernsey, mate. I did not bring it with me.
This interview's just deteriorated. I didn't know you were a Carlton man. How the hell did that happen, Woody?
I've always had an NFL team, so the base, the Glenelg team's always been my team. So when it amalgamated, I'm going to jump ship.
Haven't you heard of the Crows?
So Woody walks around in California or Los Angeles there with a Carlton top on that has Woodford across the back. He does, don't you, Mark?
No, you're gone down the run a couple of tads for me, Woody. Sorry, mate.
Number two team is the Crows.
Yeah. Well, you saved yourself at the last hour.
Welcome home, Woody.
Well done, mate.
Guys, great.
Good man.
There he is, the great Mark Woodford.
His
covering
record.
the summer. Oh,
his record. He won his first. If this is from memory, he won his first doubles Grand Slam. It was the US Open. Guess who his teammate was? I reckon it was Patrick McEnroe.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Is that right, Woody?
Are you there, Woody?
John Mac. I was listening to that.
Patrick.
John
McEnroe.
John McEnroe. Yeah, exactly.
Get out of town.
I wouldn't have been, able to win all these other titles with Todd and a handful of others if it wasn't that opportunity. It was that was look, I got to play with the best there in men's doubles with John McEnroe. I got to partner the best in mixed with Martina Navratilova, and I had one heck of a partnership with Todd. So I've been so blessed.
You have 89. That wasn't. You won 5 Grand Slam titles in the mixed doubles. You're a star, Woody. Thanks, mate.
Thanks. See you later.
I'd have taken one of them.
And I tell you what, they would still beat the Kyrgios Kokkinakis connection right now. I think,
they would.
Woodies.
Oh, they'd flog him.
Yeah. And Mark's
what did
56.
I say? Patrick McEnroe. Who's Pat
his
McEnroe?
brother.
He's his brother. John McEnroe. I love John McEnroe.
Just before the break, you mentioned Ash Barty before. I saw this stat. Could not believe how Ash Barty made $4.5 million in endorsements last year. $4.5 million. You think, not bad. Number one, just won the Aussie Open. How much do you reckon Naomi Osaka made?
Oh, 20 million. She's from
76.
Japan. Yeah, there you go. Oof. She's the highest paid athlete in Japan.
76 million.
More than a sumo wrestler.
Versus 4. Yeah. For the lady who has now won it all.
It's to do with population, isn't it?
Amazing. Last shout is on the way. Here's the traffic for your drive home.
At Craigmore, got a car
The
in
hospital.
Defence, Yorktown Road near Turner Drive. Motorbike speeds are reduced for works around the intersection of Cross, Glen Osmond and Portrush Road, just out the bottom of the freeway there. Trinity Gardens slow going at the moment for those intersection upgrade works, Portrush and McGill Roads. And we've got cameras, Baines Road on Cabringa Hills and Grants Gully Road at Clarendon. Reboot your weight loss goals in 2022 with WW's new personal points program. Start today and get your first month free at www.com. Hurry and soon. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is back and doubled the fun with 2 Scott Salisbury homes in Somerton Park to be won. Just moments from the beach. Both homes are fully furnished, absolutely stunning, and ready for you to live your dream mortgage-free. With a catalogue of more than 15,000 prizes to win, tickets won't last long. Get yours today and join the fight at homelottery.com.au. Licence M14133.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Hi, it's Jane Riley here. I hope you enjoyed my amazing virtual Victorian road trip as much as I did sharing it with you. Thanks to the travel experts at RAA, we explored Victoria's great southern touring route, including the Great Ocean Road. I hope it's inspired you to get up and go and see what's possible in Victoria. Remember, you can enjoy exclusive RAA member benefits on your next Victorian getaway. Just Google RAA Travel for more info.
Keep on moving on.
Hi there, I'm Grishma, a Specsavers optometrist. Did you know that every Specsavers is locally owned and operated by an optometrist, just like me? We believe eye tests should reveal more, not cost more, which is why we include an OCT advanced 3D eye scan with every eye test at no extra charge. Does your optometrist? Experience the Specsavers difference and book your eye test today. We're here to look after your eye health and keep you safe in store. Visit specsavers.com.au.
If you're looking for a personal alert system for an elderly loved one, make sure you pick a system that has been tried and proven. Care Alert has been providing peace of mind for over 15 years. If ever there was a time you need to have the ability to get emergency help while alone, it is right now. Whether you have a sudden illness or a nasty fall, or even hear intruders trying to break in, just a press of a button and help can be on its way. Do yourself a favour and call Care Alert on 1300 75 85 95 or go to carealert.com.au.
You know us for our bright blue vans. Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning. We are the proud winners of the Product Review Award for Plumbing in Australia for 2020 and 21. Did you know we offer $0 deposit interest-free payment plans, have no extra charge for after hours and can also often be at your door within the hour? Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning. Available 24/7.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
This is Rowey's Sports Show.
6 minutes to 6, Sports Day SA on the way from 6 o'clock. The great John Blake, who you can see if you're watching the Facebook Live stream. There he is. He's waving. Brooklyn just changing the camera angle as we speak. John Blake on from 7 o'clock.
Do I get a close-up? Yeah, get right in there.
Yeah, zoom right in, Brooklyn, if you can. Thank you.
And don't drop your strides. You were talking about dick jokes before. We're not allowed to do that on.
Also see it on our YouTube live stream. See Blakey, see from 7 o'clock. Righto.
Last shout.
Time for
The Last Shout.
What do you got for us?
Okay, 41 years ago today, this happened.
Well, it looks to me as if they're going to bowl underarm off the last ball. Rod Marsh is saying, no, mate, we're going to bowl an underarm. And that's a disappointing finish. Disappointed Brian McKechnie, the crowd boo, and it's all over.
The series was tied at 1-1.
Yes.
It was the last ball. A 6 was needed just to tie.
Yep.
And their number 10 was on strike. So in hindsight, probably the wrong call by Greg. But can you name the Kiwi batsman, if it ever comes up in a sporting trivia, that faced that ball? Who was he?
Only because Bill Lurry mentioned it right at the end of that grab.
Brian McKechnie.
Yeah.
And here's our favourite.
Still have not forgotten, by the way, New Zealanders. Still cut up rough about that.
And our favourite Richie Beno, the white, the off-white, the ivory and the beige, can have the last say.
Let me just tell you what I think about it. I think it was a disgraceful performance from a captain who got his sums wrong today, and I think it should never be permitted to happen again. We keep reading and hearing that the players are under a lot of pressure and that they're tired and jaded and perhaps their judgment and their skill is blunted. Well, perhaps they might advance that as an excuse for what happened out there today. Not with me, they don't. I think it was a very poor performance, one of the worst things I have ever seen done on a cricket field.
There was no better commentator of any sport than Richie Beno, the white, the off-white, the ivory and the beige. When's the last time you've heard the word sums used?
Yeah, got
his sums wrong.
Not often. Very nice. Sam, your last shout as Rowey recovers from the vid.
I'm getting around Josh Giddey today. Awesome to see he became the youngest player to reach 500 points, 200 rebounds and 200 assists in the NBA since, and that's in his first 45 games, since this bloke.
LeBron fires it up. You gotta be kidding me. LeBron James. He makes it look so easy.
Hang on, he ain't going to be LeBron James, mate.
No, he won't, but the numbers are stacking up that he is just brilliant as a teenager.
I'll ring Grant Kelly from the 36ers, see if we can get him.
Very nice.
Let's get him.
Been in terrific form for the Thunder. I'm going to finish on this day in 2005. Arsenal's Premier League record 33-game unbeaten streak was ended when they went down to Manchester United 4-2.
Very close to crossing the line, but no appeals from Arsenal. That was the last action. What a night for Sir Alex Ferguson, who does quickly shake hands with Arsene Wenger. What a win. What a win for Manchester United.
Yeah, they'd like some of that form right now, but that was an incredible result, and they were a bit feisty at the time, Arsenal and Man U.
I think Liverpool's beaten that record since, haven't they?
City might have.
Man City, correct.
But there you go. Last shout. Thank you for your company. We'll see you tomorrow from 4.
Shh. Can you hear that? Hang on. Here it comes. The new Kia Niro